Yo friends and followers, this is the English version of my talk in the local cinema. Es gibt aber auch eine deutsche Version, die ist hier oben verlinkt. Also wenn ihr nicht auf Englisch hören wollt, sondern in meiner Muttersprache, checkt das aus. I translated the whole video from my mother language German to English so that the whole world can understand what I was talking in the cinema. And yeah, that's basically everything. Enjoy.
I don't want to start already, but I just want to make a selfie with you. I'm so happy that the room is completely full. So please just give me your best smile. And now put all your arms in the air and scream. Thank you. I'm ready. We can start.
Yeah, we can start. I'm impressed that so many people have found their way to the Art and Design Forum, to the already 130th edition, or 110th. But we also have a little premiere today. This is the first time that we filled the whole big room of the cinema. This is worth an applause that our guest is such a magnet. So I don't want to annoy you with a long speak. You know who's this guy, you know what you can expect from him. For those of you who are the first time here, this event is free of charge. We organize this whole event as private persons, and this room is free of charge. And if you want to support the cinema a little bit, please drink a lot. Yeah, drink a lot. And now I will give the mic to Mr. Smoe.
I was already close to vomiting. Usually I just speak to a camera, and it's a really new situation for me to see into so many friendly faces. Thanks a lot that you are here. So yes, what it's all about. We are here in the Art and Design Forum, and I want to tell you a little bit about what is the story behind Smoe. I had different titles for this presentation. The first idea was 22 years graffiti in Warendorf. What happens when you're just painting the whole time in school? But I thought this is just a little bit too silly, so I thought I call this graffiti influencer. Sounds like a vandal infection, but should be a job. But at the end I decided I call this How It Could Come So Far. What is Smoe doing at all? We start right at the beginning. We start with the basics, some facts about me, some facts just to get warm. I'm born 1985 in Telchte. Here are some baby photos of me. This is the little Smoe. And in the first week of my life, I've made the biggest distance so far, 8.5 kilometers from the hospital where I was born to a small village called Müssingen. And from there, I made it until here, another 7 kilometers. I grew up there with my brother Kazi. We got a little dog, and until I was 13 years old, pretty much everything in my life seemed to be normal until these letters came into my life. I've told this story so many times already that I don't know if it is still true or if it is just a legend, but if I remember it right, it was on the way to the camping holidays with my parents. I was sitting on the back seat staring out the window when these graffiti letters at the German Autobahn suddenly catched my attention. I was instantly in love with these shapes, and I just wanted to do the same. But as I was 13 years old back then and my possibilities were limited, all I did was just painting crazy graffiti letter combinations just from my memories in different color combinations. And I painted only on paper for more than 2 years until I thought, man, I need to do this in a different way. I need to spray paint. This leads us to the very first time spray painting. I wish that I had a camera back then. The only thing that I still got is the sketch. The word is silence that I spray painted into my kids' room. Applause to my parents who allowed it. And I can even tell you the exact date when I painted this because I still got the receipt. And the only piece of evidence is this receipt from Stelter. And nowadays it's framed in our living room like the first coin from Dagobert Duck. And it all started on the 29th of January at 10 o'clock and 42 minutes. And this was the first time that I had a real high in my life. I mean, I got kids, I am married, but I felt like Harry Potter getting his magic wand. And 3 hours later, the frustration was so high, I was nearly crying because I was just not able to spray paint. How to do thin lines? Everything was dripping down, the whole house was smelling, and yeah. So I continued on the paper. You can't believe it. The big sprayer started the first years only on paper. A lot of funny, colorful letter combinations. And I had absolutely no connection to anyone in the graffiti scene because we didn't have it here in Warendorf. So I just painted any letters. I painted slash, freak, and this at the top right corner. I painted it in religion lessons, amen. But suddenly in 2001, we got a computer at home with internet connection, and so I could make a research. And I found a graffiti posting website called graffitiart.de, and back then I was so proud because I uploaded this sketch to this forum and I got a 4.5 stars rating, and other people just wrote down some nice comments underneath it and said it is good or it's bad, and I was just so proud that I made a copy of this screenshot of this website, and so it made it into this presentation. But what was even more important for me back then was that I suddenly had a connection to other people who do the same like I do, who love to play around with colors and letters and characters and who just have fun with this combination and stuff. And I learned so much about it. I learned all the special terms, like that the depth of the letters is called block, the color is called fill-in, that we got bubbles, that the figures are called characters, and of course that every graffiti artist has his own tag that he puts underneath the letter combination. And before I didn't know all of this. I just painted random words, random letter combinations. But when I noticed that I have to paint my name all the time, and not different names, then I just don't want so many letters in my name, so I reduced it a little bit, and I just took the letters that I love the most, and at the end I came up with Smoe. Many people ask me if Smoe has a meaning. First and foremost, no, I just wanted to have an S at the beginning, an E at the end, an M for missing in the middle. But I tried different combinations, and at the end it was just Smoe. But there's also the legend that this means sexiest man of Earth, and I don't say anything against it. Good, so I continued on the paper with all these other graffiti artists on graffitiart.de who judged my art. I learned so much. My letter combinations got more and more complicated. I learned more about different techniques, how to make fill-ins, different pens. And back then I bought my first Copics, and everyone who has something to do with designs knows how expensive these markers are. But the real contact to the graffiti scene came 2003 when I got 18. I got my driver's license and I was able to drive away from Müssingen, the small village, or Warendorf, and I came to other places where it was already allowed to paint there, where they had legal walls that we didn't have back then in Warendorf. And this, for example, is painted at the Haverkamp in Münster. I spray painted my name there, and I got to know the first other graffiti artists who said, I know even better places to paint, just come with me. And then I got to know places like the Demolition Hall. And in this hall, it was possible to paint there, and I was there nearly every weekend. And every weekend there were a lot of graffiti artists coming there, painting a new layer of color on these walls. And I painted there together with other graffiti artists that are pretty famous in my region. And this, for example, is the Lackaffe. Many people in Germany or in my area know this guy. And back then, my car was also a great help to reach the higher places on the walls, because I didn't have a ladder. And as my mother saw this picture later, I told her, no, I was not wearing shoes, the roof is still good. This was my mother's car, Opel Kadett. And this, for example, was in Kassel underneath a highway bridge, Autobahn bridge, and it was possible to paint on these pillars over there. And it is most times it's the graffiti scene that enters places like that. They paint there so many times that the police says after some time, we don't want to write reports all the time. Now we make it legal, so everyone can paint here. Nobody cares. But I had a problem with walls for a long time. I always had to drive somewhere so that I can paint at all. Until at one day, at the day of the open door of my school, my teachers asked me if it was possible to paint for them the name of our school, Mariengymnasium, with a ladybug. And the coincidence wants it like that another father was searching for a school for his son, and he said, hey, what are you doing there? We have a wall at our company and it always gets painted. Don't you want to paint something nice over there instead of these ugly tags? And I said, yes, finally, my first own wall. We called this wall the Amsbeck wall at the Flower Street. And I always painted my name over there in different color combinations with characters, like we already learned. In general, I had everything that I wanted to have at this moment. And at this time, I got a lot of visitors at the wall. Not only the police came to check my identity card until they noticed that this is all the time the same guy. And at the end, I was just saying hi to them and they drove by. But there also came people that asked, like, can you paint my kiosk? And back then, I always ordered the spray cans home for the people I sprayed for. Then they paid for them at the front door, and I took the leftovers with me and basically had a hobby that I financed myself. I found that very clever. And the calculation is relatively easy. This is now a garage door, like 2 by 2 meters, 4 square meters. You can fill a square meter with a spray can. So I ordered 50 cans and took the rest home with me. And the attention got bigger and bigger, and I had my first big newspaper article in 2005. And just 2 years later, I was suddenly self-employed because the concept of sending the cans to the people, and so at some point my warehouse was just full. This concept just didn't work anymore. Then someone came and said to me like, yeah, what does it look like? We want to cover our company completely with with wood so that we can rebuild behind it. And you can paint then graffiti on it with the theme of 175 years of Dape Industrial Printing Company history. And when he said that he needs a bill, I asked him, can I just write it on a receipt pad? No, it should be right with a tax number and so on. And then I suddenly was self-employed and everything started like a pyramid scheme. So I painted a commission and the commission led to the next commission. This one is in Gütersloh at Fricke, and funnily enough, the client is the dad from Johannes, who runs the cinema right now. And this was in 2008, and I also started studying back then. And funnily, I made all the drafts, all the sketches for such commissions back then, even with pencil. And I still wonder to this day how the people had such basic trust in me that they said it will be good later. But it worked somehow. And so I painted free walls in my free time, my letters, the stuff that I really love. People asked me if I can paint a commission when I was at the wall, and they asked like, can you paint a snail on an electricity box? Yes, of course, I can. Then I painted graffiti letters again. Someone asked me, can you paint in my kids' room or in the room of my kids? Can you paint McQueen of cars? Can you paint a car for my 18th birthday car? Can you paint a car for the 50th birthday? I really painted a lot of cars. Can you paint dancing houses in front of a hard rock cafe? Can you paint Bob Marley with a fat spliff where the smoke is in the colors from Jamaica? Can you paint my kebab shop? It was nearly everything. Can you paint a Michelin guy on a Harley? But the only thing that the people didn't want from me were my beautiful letters. Nobody cared about my letters besides me. And so I painted in my free painting time letters, and in my working painting time I painted a lot of other different stuff. And one thing that I loved the second most were optical illusions. My skills improved more and more because I painted so much, and this wall is in Loxton, close by Versmold, and I had to paint this wall into a half-timbered wall. And I painted around the windows, I painted doors, and very complicated are places are the perspective and the stuff. And we even made these wooden nails and took real wooden nails, and glued them in front of it to make it more realistic. And it was always a personal accolade when the people came by, people who had their horses on this farm, and they had to check with their hands if the ivory is real or not. But maybe they just wanted to be nice. And even better, it was when the client asked me if it was possible to paint Hugo, the donkey, on one of the doors. And back then I was already studying design, so I was able to do some Photoshop stuff, and I made the design, painted Hugo on the wall, and one of the horses didn't like Hugo, and since I painted Hugo on this door, the horse was not able to stand on the lawn in front of the door anymore. And like I said, back then I was already in design studies, and there were a lot of creative people all around me, and I sometimes took them with me to my free painting time. And one of my friends from the university had the idea to put a canvas in my graffiti letters, and so we made this photo, and he took the canvas with him, and it was at the end in his living room. And in the studies, I also met a nice girl, and she had the idea to make a graffiti video together. And I want to show it to you right now. Maybe you can identify the nice girl.
It seems like happy.
Yeah, those of you who follow me a little bit longer know that from this moment on, suddenly, I was not alone anymore. I've married this young girl later on. We did our studies together. I finished as a product designer, she as a communication designer. But I made so much stuff. I learned tool maker, never worked in this job. I made product designer, I never worked in this job. It is all just side stuff that I did, but the most times I was just painting graffiti letters and other stuff that you can paint with spray paint. And so suddenly we were Smoe Nova. So the Nova part is from my wife. And before we married, her name was Zhitnyova. So our name should be Smoe Nova. So Smoe and Nova together made Oscar. And we married, and a short time later, we also had another kid, Matteo, and our 2-room apartment was suddenly too small to work in there, to have 2 kids in there, and to live in there. So we opened up our small shop at the Laurentius Street. And I was sitting at this table and making designs for stuff like garage door with vertical lines on it, with stones, garage doors with horizontal lines and horses. I painted besides the garage door. And also I painted at the side of a garage. So everything we did was all around garages. But I also did other stuff. I painted this canvas that looks like if it was printed. I painted digitally for stuff that was printed later on paper. I painted for the local print and copy shop a horse that looks like if it was made from paper, because they were not able to paint on their own. And I also painted beer that I had to drink later on at the Kolping House, Benedictiner white beer. It was very good. Yeah, but where are my letters? Where are my letters? I'm painting all the time different stuff. I tried so much. I tried to make exhibitions, and I made exhibitions in Warendorf, in Everswinkel, and I tried to sneak my letters into canvases. But the sled is saying Smoe. These are the letters Smoe, made from furniture as a sled behind a horse. But I was frustrated. Nobody cared about my letters, and so my wife and me had the idea to start a YouTube channel. Because everything that it was just word-to-mouth marketing. We had to go out there. We need to get the control about the commissions that come in so that it is not all over the place anymore. And this is one of the first videos where I was talking myself. Back then I was still talking in German. And I show you right now how it looks like, because before this video we had made a lot of videos just with music and I was painting, but suddenly I was starting to talk, but now the sound didn't work. I can't hear anything. Hello? Hello? Okay, I try to make a synchronization myself. Okay, I'm on the scaffolding, look over here, and now I'm painting very fast. I'm sitting in the car, and now I explain very clever stuff. I'm talking about how I managed to paint the same size of these ducks on the wall, and that I made some stencils and other clever things, because it is very hard to get them all within the same size when you have to paint on different floors of the scaffolding. And back then this was pretty revolutionary, to take people with you to your work and tell them all your secrets, everything you know. The whole world was watching through the camera what you're doing, and I was telling like every secret, everything that was coming to my mind. I was explaining it, and I was showing a new spoiler technique so that you don't get these sharp dust edges around a stencil. And then I end the video and say that you need to subscribe it. By the way, you can subscribe right now as well if you haven't already. And I say thumbs up, and we see us in the next project. Good. A little bit of sound, at least. And this, I still make it in all my YouTube videos. Yeah, and like I said, it was pretty revolutionary to lead the whole world through the whole process of painting such a commission. But the most crazy about it was that 24,165 people have seen this video. And I know many people out there think that you get rich with YouTube videos. No, it is not like that. I made 27.53 € with this video. I mean, I could get rich with YouTube if I was a beauty YouTuber, or if I would do car content or something. But art is something, there are not so many people who are interested in art, and art content and even graffiti content just does not work. So yeah, and I took the people with me, maybe even to electricity boxes like this one. I made €7.98 with it. But what is even more important is that 31 people subscribed to my YouTube channel because of this video and because they were interested in me and my work. And so I made 24 videos in the first year, first active year of doing YouTube stuff. And I was always keeping an eye on the analytics and stuff, and I noticed, yay, look over there. The two best videos are videos about letters. So stuff like this beats on YouTube videos like the Porsche, for example, 10 times. Even when videos like the Porsche were very popular here in Warendorf, and so many people sent this video to other people that even people sent it to me, and I said, no, yeah, I painted it myself. And I want to show it to you real quick. And I'm sorry about the sound. First there was no sound, now the sound is way too loud. Yeah. And I said that I paint the Porsche always from the top to the bottom, because when I drip, I paint over the drips, and then there I'm done with it. Yay. Like I said, I love optical illusions. I always love to say, this is the only garage in my area that is bigger from inside than from outside, and probably the cheapest Porsche that was ever a birthday gift. And so I made in the following year more and more videos about my graffiti letters, like the Laser Cats wall, 31,000 views, how expensive is a graffiti, 50-something thousand views, I was on jams, I made nearly 80,000 views, and then at the end painting graffiti on my own new wall, 100,000 views on a graffiti video. Insane. And what changed for me personally was that I noticed that the people who want to see my videos are all over the world, so that it doesn't make any sense to drive somewhere to paint. So I said, okay, I built a garden wall in my backyard, 16 meters wide, 2 meters 80 or something high. And the second video that I painted there went viral, 1.2 million views on the Venom video. My first viral hit. And this was actually my breakthrough. There came so many interesting people to me who wanted my letters. The Insomniac Games wanted my letters for their Spider-Man game, for the digital Manhattan. And now there are so many graffitis of me visible on the screens in the living rooms of people who are playing Spider-Man, or Team Reptile came to me for Bombrush Cyberpunk. No, Bombrush Cyberfunk. There was even the shoe with my graffiti letters on it. And in the YouTube graffiti scene, I was becoming a big name. Even Doke visited me in Warendorf. He has 1.3 million subscribers. We painted a graffiti wall in my garden with a Halloween theme. 1.2 million views. And this morning I took a calculator, and when every 10 minutes 20 people would walk through my backyard 12 hours a day, then last Christmas the last people would have walked through my garden, through my backyard. It's so much. 1.2 million is so much. So I had a double life, something like that. On the one side I still had to make money somehow, and on the other side YouTube was going bigger. So I still painted electricity boxes, and my wife, she was in love with yogurt, melon yogurt with whole melons in it. No, just joking. She was pregnant with our third kid, Elisa, and I painted so many electricity boxes, like a shelf, like a piano. All optical illusions. And I also painted, what I really think is very funny, I painted the house behind the electricity box on the electricity box. This is in Albachten, near Münster. Or a gumball machine. And somebody told me, who was living there, that sometimes people went there who wanted to get some chewing gum, and that they were so disappointed that this was not real. Or a big socket. But because of its size, I think there is no danger that someone wants to charge his phone there. Yeah. All these electricity boxes, the client asked me if it was possible to paint them away. Please, can you make them away? And I made it like Google would do it in Google Maps. I just pixelated them. Or in Warendorf, at the waterworks, they had this big box suddenly in front of the old building, and they asked me if it was possible to paint this one away. I said, okay, it's a challenge, but I accept it. And I think I managed it to paint it pretty good away. It works from one side and also from the other side. And the special trick is that it works from two different views, 45-degree angle view and from the front side. And in this video, I tried... Oh, it has 110,000 views. And in this video, I tried to find the ideal way to paint brick stones. I tried different stencils and stuff. And so many people have seen it that nowadays they still tag me on posts all around brick stones. So I'm the brick man now. But it was actually like that I found the ideal way to paint brick stones just in 3 hours. Suddenly gone. Bam. Yeah, and the followers on YouTube were becoming more and more. I was still a father and had to deal with family life and having interviews at the same time, like for this Italian YouTube magazine. They wrote an article about me. I was in German television together with a famous singer. Oh no, he was a famous rapper. I painted a refrigerator into a jukebox. I was invited to different graffiti jams. I got the German Influencer Award in the year 2020. And also I got the 100,000 subscriber YouTube play button. Everything became faster, more interesting, crazy projects. I even painted with Joshua Kimmich. He's a football player. I didn't know him before, but the Bayern München fans always think this is a very cool project. Yeah, and we sold it for charity, and it was crazy. It was too much for me, and I noticed that I have to stop painting commissions because it was just I was not able to handle it anymore. I painted my last electricity box. It is this one over here, and yeah. It was a pretty sad video. Suddenly this went viral. Why did this happen? I painted one of my last big commissions. This was a playground. It went viral too. I made this to a dinosaur playground. And so I said 2020 I need to put all cards on social media and style writing. And I made a lot of crazy projects like this one together with PUBG Mobile and Marvel. I painted my letters, made a nice graffiti video, and I made a little bit of advertisement in it for the new Spider-Man game. I painted for other games, like for example for Mato Anomalies. I made my letters all around. I made the characters for Mato Anomalies. And there were even people coming to me and asking me, hey Smoe, I love your stuff. I would love to have a canvas from you. I love your letters. I would really love to have something like that. And so I painted canvases like this for people who did not say anything to me what they want. They just said, I want your style. This is insane. Or this one. This one went to Canada. And everything changed because I just didn't give up, and nowadays it is even like that I'm able to paint letters on paper, and I sold even 30 of these sketches all over the world in this year. Just for people who love letters the same as I do, who feel letters, who enjoy these letter combinations. Yeah, thank you. And this all was just possible because my beautiful wife, she built an online shop on smonova.de. Please check out my online shop right now. And now I show you some highlights of the last 2 years. I start with this project. It wouldn't be possible to communicate this project without a video at all. I made 2 videos about it. First, the left side, and second, the right side. But in the video of the right side, I showed that both sides of the bridge should be on top of each other, like this. And these 2 parts together make this whole artwork. And the effect was so crazy and so many people liked it, and I didn't know how many prints I would sell, but at the end 49 people on the whole world bought such a print, and the biggest respect that you can get as an artist is when your customers send you pictures from the framed triple passepartout hovering thingy with I don't know how to translate it. Even one guy made a tattoo all over his belly. It's crazy. It's crazy. What is happening out there? I wouldn't even do this myself. Yeah, the requests were so big. I was invited to Brazil to paint over there in Macaé. And here I'm sitting in front of the piece that I was painting there. And Christian asked me to make you a little bit more clever, and I should lead you through the letters. I don't have a laser pointer, but I have a laser sword. Yo. Okay, like we all learned, graffiti artists always paint their name. So what do you think? What did I write here? Right. So we start on the left side with an S. It is here. It goes a little bit up there. And everything on the left side are just extra elements that don't belong to the letter for the readability. The M is a little bit bended. You can find it here. Here we got the O. And on the right side, I got an E that is some sort of like a mirrored 3. This is my favorite E. Can you hear this? Yeah. And of course, I try to give some props to the people all around me that support me, that help me. And first and foremost, over here, we got the name of my wife, Nova. And then we have on the other side my best friend Jan. He brought me to the airport. My cameraman Töser, even if he wasn't there. Yeah, give an applause for Jan. And I made some greetings to Marlon. He was the organizer of this jam. And he thought he wanted to have a very international graffiti jam, and he thought that I'm from the Netherlands. This was a mistake, but I just told it to him when I was already there. And then, yeah, the video is a recommendation of myself. You need to see it. Very interesting. It's a mix of a holiday trip and graffiti video. It's crazy for me to be invited to different countries. I was in Paris in the last year. We painted in front of this nice building. I was invited to Basel to represent my graffiti letters over there. But one of the craziest projects in the last year was together with the artist Nick Moody, who is sitting in one of the front rows. And we were invited to France, I've always forgot the name. Nick says it's Lausanne, but it's wrong. This is even in Switzerland. Nick, you have no idea what you're talking about. And we were invited to paint a train over there. This is crazy. And these trains get painted every year as a tourist attraction. And I end this whole talk with one of the last artworks they painted one day before Christmas. It's a collaboration with Mattel and Heo. And they commissioned me to paint whatever I want, but it should be an advertisement for the Turtles of Grayskull. It's a crossover action toy line, a mix between Masters of the Universe and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it was such a great project. I love action figures. And I will tell you a little bit what will happen in 2024, what you can expect. And I have to say that in the last 2 years, it all became too much for me. I will make some steps back. You will see some commissions. I already painted a commission at the end of the last year. You will see definitely more three-dimensional letters. I had the possibility to paint this nice logo, and there will be more three-dimensional letters, definitely, because I love it. And in February, we will start the launch of this action figure, my own vinyl collectible figure. This is The Alchemist, and we will make a crowdfunding campaign for this one. Link is in the video description. Yeah, this was the super fast walk through 22 years of graffiti in my hometown and somewhere else. We got some sticker packs for you if you want. If you want to know more about me, check out the QR code. I hope I wasn't too nervous. And now I need a beer.
Ja, gerne. Ich bin jetzt erlöst.
And Christian asked me if it was possible to ask me some questions. I didn't expect such a long applause. This was the longest applause ever, Christian said. I said that I didn't want to be a show-off. The record.
Oh, this was world class. Yeah, we know it from Warendorf. Thanks a lot for this wonderful talk. And if anyone has a nice question, ask it right now. You can also ask it with a beer later, if you don't want it right now. Has anyone a question?
Danke.
Thank you.
Christian, this is your voice. Okay. And now I say some other stuff that is not so important for the international people. I will cut it out.
Yeah, and if anyone has a question for me, now you can write it in the comments, and everyone over there had to bring me a beer for a question. So, thanks a lot for everyone who made it until here. I hope you were a little bit entertained. The next video will be an English video again. Please write a comment and do all the supportive stuff. You know the YouTube business. Thanks a lot. See you.